Okay, let's kick off with the drums. So the way I like to approach this is to take the drums together and send them to a bus. Now, what I'm going to do is find a setting which I think enhances the drums, and then I'm actually going to copy that setting to each individual hit, because obviously the compressor will react differently if it's on a bus to whether it's on each individual sound. So I'll put on Pro AC2, which is kind of my go-to compressor, and I'm going to use a tool called Music Math. Now this allows you to, it calculates for you beat and bar divisions in milliseconds of your tempo. Our tempo is 1, 2, 3. So it's telling us that, say, a 16th note is 121 milliseconds, an 8th note is 243 milliseconds. Now these kind of values, 8th notes, 16th notes, quarter notes, these are the kind of values that we can dance to essentially. So a quarter note is, the kick drum, an 8th note would be kind of a hi-hat, 16th note would be a shaker or a fast hi-hat. These are kind of the grooves that we can move to, When we're getting down to this kind of territory, 30 milliseconds, that's not something which we can move to. Our bodies aren't fast enough. So when we use these kind of values, that's where we talk about musical compression or the compression pumping, release times pumping. It's because they're pumping in time with the track, essentially. So we can use this to set some different grooves. Now, this is, when I say groove, it's not like side chaining, where it's pumping like a sidechain compressor would do, but it's a slight enhancement, that's what we're looking for, of the groove. Okay, so the attack time, as I said, is helping us create the illusion that something's closer to us or further away from us. I'm going to put it on a hard knee because it's drums. Hard knee's more responsive. Okay, so let me kind of show you what I mean with the attack and release setting. So let's set it to 487 milliseconds and a fast attack of 1 millisecond. Okay, and let's come into the kind of body of the track. Okay. Now there's too much compression going on there. I want to kind of about a dB for this. We want about a dB for this kind of compression. And let's put up a bit of gain to make up for the loss. Okay, so you ask yourself, do the drums ever so slightly sit further back in the mix with the compression in? It's maybe a little bit too loud on the makeup gain. Okay, so it's subtle. It's definitely subtle, but okay, so listen to the vocal and ask yourself when the compression comes in, does the vocal and do the vocal and the drums slightly kind of uncouple from each other? Do the drums feel like they're slightly behind the vocal, or do they slightly recede and the vocal, does it feel slightly more separate from the drums? Okay, so that's one concept that we could try, so pushing the drums back. Now, again, does it sound like there's a little bit more front-back perspective on the whole track? Yes, to me it definitely does. So let's save that to slot A and copy it to slot B which I do like so. And now we've got the same setting in both. Now this would be an alternative approach. So we could do 30 milliseconds attack, a slow attack. It's going to let the transient pop through, and let's try 60. So this is a 30-second note. So this is going to be really fast. So this is the kind of thing where we want the drums to come forward. We have to amend the threshold and ratio to make sure we get the same amount of compression. Okay, so forward, back, forward, back. Okay, let's flip between the two. Back, forward. Back, forward, back, forward. Yeah, no, I think I like it forward. Okay, but both kind of sound cool in different ways. So let's try 30 milliseconds, which is like a 64th note. So this is where the release of the compressor is just really kind of pumping away really fast. So the kick's triggering it because it's on the bus, and it's just going shoo, shoo, shoo. It's like pumping and breathing, and it's like shaking all the drums up and bringing them out and making them more vibrant. Back, forward. Okay, do the drums groove more? For me, they do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this across to each one of my drum sounds individually. And I'm going to, in fact, I've copied them over to all of the sounds, but that's fine. We can amend these other sounds later down the line. So let's just bypass all of these, in fact, and we'll bypass the compressor on the bus because we're going to do a separate drum compression on the bus. So now I'm looking for a similar kind of amount of compression on each individual sound. This is my kicks, that's fine. About a dB, we've got the same settings, slow attack, fast release. This is the clap. Okay, the hat stem. Okay, the open hat. It's all looking good. The snare stem. So you can kind of hear it on that because that's got quite a lot of reverb on it. You can kind of almost hear the pumping. It's more flat. That's kind of sucking up more. Okay, top stem. So we've got a slightly more grooving drum sound and also a drum sound which is coming out towards us a little bit.